all alone, wondering where you've been. 3:10, I know the club closed at 2 a.m. Already been through about 7 scenarios. Why you wonder why I change your mind? Knowing very well that you told me you come home and it happens every time. Wish I had no expectations. I wish that I could get it through your head with no confrontations. Really wish we could talk about it instead. All these tears that I cry when I'm touched to the side and you endlessly fucking bad. Wish I had no expectations, but I expect, you expect, we expect. No, I don't mean to pry, I don't need no play-by-play. All I need from your side is for you to communicate. Respect for my time, respect for my space, respect for my energy. Cause I've been waiting all night for you to warm me up, and you haven't once thought of me. Wish I had no expectations. I wish that I could get it through your head with no confrontations. Really wish we could talk about it instead. All these tears that I cry when I'm turned to the side and you're endlessly fucking bad. Wish I had no expectations, but I expect, you expect, we expect.
Remind your sister, your mother, cousin, friend, co-worker, partner, whoever. Remind them of their strength and remind them of what we can do together. Thank you. I learned very young that to be a woman in this world meant that you have to have incredibly thick skin, especially if you want to do it in front of people starting at 16. You have to be willing to accept that your existence is a paradox, and that people are always going to have something to say about the way that you are. A strong woman is characterized by her capacity to still see her divinity after enduring all sorts of emotional and physical abuse from a world that refuses to see her power. A strong woman deserves to be characterized by her willingness to continue to survive through all adversity. Her ability to move past every obstacle thrown her way, every no, every smirk, every dismissal, every questioning, everybody asking her for hers. She should be honored for the grace she exhibits in the face of chaos, when everything falls on her shoulders and she has to explain once again why she's qualified and equipped to handle it. She should be praised for her perseverance. For the centuries she stood at the forefront of innovation and revolution with no chapter in a history book to commemorate. She should be allowed to express and present herself in any way she pleases without judgment. She should be allowed a podium at the top of the Statue of Liberty to announce what her heart and soul feel, because I know that she could change hearts and minds if they just let her speak. If they would just listen for a moment. We're brought into this world with an empathy bestowed upon us. Young girls blossoming into our mature bodies before we are even taught how to understand it. We're expected to respect it by what they deem respectable. We are told to have a strength that is digestible, an ambition that is gentle, a warm smile that is delectable, but I don't want to be devoured anymore. I'm grateful for a way to make sense of the world around me and why it's so cruel and unwilling to listen. Why we still have to debate and gather to defend our autonomy and worth with anyone at this point, but much less with each other, is painful. To the women who have come before us, who have kicked down doors only to be greeted by another crowd of angry men shouting that it isn't time yet, we thank you. To be told that it is not yet convenient enough to be considered equal, to be afforded the same payment for the same job, to be granted the freedom to do and express as we please with no rule, regulation, restriction, or boundary to its acceptability, we thank you for pushing forward anyway. We thank you for uplifting us to the point where we can stand together here today and collectively shout that time is up. To the leaders in all walks of life who have come together around the world to create tangible change, to the interns and the nonprofits who work tirelessly from the bottom of their hearts, to the speakers, the spectators, awareness spreaders, organizers, healers, mothers, caretakers, teachers, artists, change makers, and mentors who have taken on more than they can take, we thank you. The way we lead is a special kind of fierce. We know when we need to break silence in difficult moments, and our courage now resonates in the halls of Congress and around the world. It resonates in all the women, women of color, queer women, women of minorities, indigenous women, trans women, and women from all around the world that have found themselves on the same wavelength of freedom, coming together to nominate each other and uplift one another to positions of power and authority. The amount of change that we have witnessed and are about to continue to see is because of all of us seeing one another, uplifting one another, and continuing to move forward. We have seen the women who have marched, the women who have been beaten, scorned, marked. We have heard the stories from our grandmothers for ages about the perils and fights it has taken to get to a place where we have the powerful voice that we have today, in this very moment, in this very place together. We have heard their cries, and every soul looking back at me today, no matter how it identifies, has this understanding, has this knowledge of the wise, creative, loving nurturer who is no less worthy of a voice than the greed of the patriarchy that rules this world. The divine feminine in each of us is burning to be embraced and bring balance, burning for recognition, burning for you to listen to her. Most of us here today can see that truth. We speak it, we uplift it, we spread it, we're aligned with it, because we're here. I ask you to continue to do so and to remind yourself of your power every chance you get. Remind your sister, your mother, cousin, friend, co-worker, partner, whoever. Remind them of their strength and remind them of what we can do together.